Do you know that there are red flags that you can be aware of when you read a job posting? So in this video today, I'm going to talk about some things you should look for when reading a job posting to determine whether it's even worth it to even apply for that particular role. Job postings often have red flags. You should know about them so that you don't get into a situation where you're applying for a job that just will not be a fit. In the video today, I'm going to talk about what those red flags are and what you should do about them. I'm Shelley Piedmont, a former recruiter and now career coach, and I believe that you can thrive and not just survive your job. The first red flag that you should be aware of are vague job responsibilities. I know you've seen those job postings. There's minimal text, and it might even say responsibilities traditionally of a project manager or an accountant. Now, what are you supposed to do with that? That's just laziness on the part of the employer. They should know what the expectations are for the job, and they should spell them out for you. If they don't, it could mean either they don't know what they want, in which case that's a red flag, or it could mean that they do know what they want, but they're afraid that they will not get candidates to apply if they tell you exactly what you would be doing. Obviously, that's a red flag as well. So if you feel like the job posting is not really giving you the information you need to know to decide if the job is going to be a good fit, that definitely is a red flag. The second red flag is when the job posting has unreasonable expectations. So often we see this in education requirements that are not aligned with the job, such as requiring an advanced degree when there's really no reason to have an advanced degree to be successful in a role. Or it could be the years of experience that is being required that seems out of sync with what the job is. So for example, an entry-level job that's requiring 3 to 5 years of experience. Why would they do that? Well, they could be doing that to sift out candidates. They may get a lot of people who apply, so therefore they're using that as a criteria to remove candidates from the candidate pool. So it also could be that they just have unrealistic expectations. If the expectations are unrealistic in the job posting, just think about the expectations you might have if you actually get that job. The third thing to be aware of is if there's no information about the company in the job posting. Now, many companies will have a little paragraph that explains a little bit about the company, the culture, the mission, things like that. That is because they should be proud of it, and secondly, to make you aware of what their expectations are so that you can see if the job is a good fit. But if they eliminate that, there's nothing there for you to really make an assessment of. You might want to ask why. Organizations should be proud of what they stand for, who they work with, and their values. So if it's not there, that could be a potential red flag. Fourth thing to look out for are buzzwords. These are words that you find in that job posting that don't really say anything, but I think they're in there to make people feel good. So an example could be looking for someone who is dynamic. Okay, dynamic, what does that mean? It could mean many things, right? It could be someone who's very high energy. It could be somebody who's an extrovert. It could be somebody who has a lot of skills. Who knows? But a lot of times employers will put these words in And that makes it hard for the reader to figure out, okay, what are they really looking for? So in a job posting, they should be very precise about what it is that they want. If they put in dynamic, they should explain what that means to them so that you, as the job seeker, will know, yes, I am this kind of dynamic. I would be a good fit for the job. Or, nope, that's not me. This probably is a job I should pass on. So be aware of those buzzwords that may indicate that they don't know what they're looking for. The fifth thing you should look for are words that describe the culture fit and whether you align with it. So there are words that have more meaning than what is said, and you should be aware of that and see if that aligns. So I'll give you an example. So let's say that they say in the job posting that they are family friendly, or they treat everyone like a family. Okay, what does that mean exactly? Because I know a lot of families that are completely dysfunctional. Is that what you're looking for? A dysfunctional family? That could be a problem. Or if they think of a family as they're into everybody's business. So there's no line between the personal and the professional. Are you okay with that? You may be, but you may not be. So when you see words like that, you should notice that, and that could be a potential red flag. Something else. They say that they're in a fast-paced environment. Okay? What does that mean? So it could mean that they make decisions very quickly. And that could be a real positive for you if you like to get things done quickly. But it could mean they're fast-paced because they don't have any processes and they're just going 150 miles per hour, and you have to hold on to get through all that. For some, that may be exciting. For some, that could be a big problem. So look at those culture clues and decide whether you understand what that means and if that would be a good environment for you. And the sixth thing to look at is anything with compensation. Now, that isn't necessarily a red flag, but it is something to look at how they are putting out their competitiveness for salary or other compensation factors. As an example, in some states in the U.S., it is required that they put a salary range. Okay, that's great, but how are they putting their range? If that range is so wide that it is not really helpful for the applicant, what does that say about the organization? To me, it says, well, we're doing something because we have to, because it's the law, but we're going to make it so irrelevant for the applicant that it is worthless. Okay? Now, if that's their intent, you should know that, and that could be a red flag. Another thing is if they aren't required to put any salary information in, and they don't, or they put in something like competitive salary. Okay, competitive salary. What does that even mean? It's up to that company to determine what that is, and that could be that there's at least one competitor that pays less than they do, but it also could mean that everybody else in that's competition pays more. So technically they're competitive because they're higher than somebody else, but truly they're not competitive in the job market. So always take that information and really assess what it means and if that is a red flag. So when you see these red flags, here's what you need to do. First of all, decide whether it is enough that you know that that will not be a good fit for you. because they're telling you the information that you need to know to make that assessment. And it's no sense for you to continue with the process, either to apply or even to interview, if you know that this job is going to be a bad fit for you. Now, sometimes you are aware of red flags, but you may not know the extent of them, or you need to have more information to decide whether that job really is not a good fit. So, always do your research. Find out as much as you can about the organization, what they do, about the job. Make sure that if you go to the interview process, you are asking good questions to understand how that job is structured, what that relationship would be with your boss, as well as the values and the mission of the organization. And the third thing to help you with all that is to also talk to people. Talk to people that have worked there or are still working there. See what they have to say. They may give you some additional information that will be really valuable for you to decide whether this will be a good fitting job, one where you can really thrive, or one where you will only survive.